Every morning before the world speaks to you, someone has already spoken to your mind. That someone is you. Before your family says good morning, before your phone lights up with messages, before social media tells you who is successful, before the news tells you what to fear, your own voice has already decided what kind of day you will have. Many people spend their entire lives trying to change their circumstances while ignoring the one thing that creates those circumstances, the conversations they have with themselves. Think about it. If every day you tell yourself, "I'm not good enough," your mind starts searching for proof. If you tell yourself, "Nothing ever works out for me," your attention begins to notice every failure while ignoring every opportunity. If you constantly repeat, "Life is unfair," eventually you stop trying because you believe the result has already been decided. But what if the opposite is also true? What if speaking to yourself with wisdom, courage, discipline, and gratitude slowly transforms the way you think, the way you act, and ultimately the life you build? This is not magic. It is not pretending problems don't exist. It is not about repeating empty positive phrases while avoiding reality. It is about something much deeper. It is about training your mind to become your greatest ally instead of your greatest enemy. Thousands of years ago, the Stoic philosophers understood this truth long before modern psychology gave it scientific names. They knew that no one can completely control the world outside, but every person can learn to govern the world within. And once the inner world changes, the outer world begins to change with it. Today, we are going to discover how speaking to yourself, the Stoic way, can reshape your mindset, strengthen your character, and help you attract better opportunities, not because the universe suddenly changes for you, but because you become the kind of person who recognizes and creates those opportunities. So before we begin, make one promise to yourself. Listen with an open mind. Some of these ideas may challenge the way you have spoken to yourself for years. That is exactly why they matter. Because every new life begins with a new conversation inside your own mind, the invisible voice that shapes your destiny. Most people underestimate the power of self-talk. They believe success depends only on talent, or money, or luck, or connections. These things can certainly influence life. But there is something even more powerful. It is the story you repeat to yourself every single day. Your mind listens to you more than it listens to anyone else. It hears every complaint, every excuse, every fear, every judgment, every hope, every decision. Imagine having a friend who follows you 24 hours a day. Whatever you tell that friend, they believe without question. If you repeatedly say, "I always fail," that friend believes it. If you constantly repeat, "I'm becoming stronger," that friend believes it too. The strange thing is that this friend is your subconscious mind. It quietly accepts what you repeatedly tell it. Then it begins influencing your emotions, your habits, your confidence, and your actions. This is why two people can face the exact same challenge and respond in completely different ways. One says, "This is impossible." The other says, "This is difficult, but I can learn." The challenge is identical. The difference is the conversation happening inside. Stoicism teaches that events themselves are not what disturb us. Our judgments about those events disturb us. A traffic jam is simply traffic. Losing a job is simply an event. Someone criticizing you is simply another person's opinion. Your suffering begins when your inner voice adds a story. This always happens to me. I'm a failure. I'll never recover. Everyone is against me. These thoughts feel real because you repeat them. But repetition does not create truth. It creates belief, and beliefs shape behavior. Behavior shapes results. Results eventually shape your future. That is why your future is quietly being built by the words you whisper to yourself today. Why most people never hear their own thoughts. Here is one of the greatest tragedies of modern life. People hear thousands of voices every day. Television, advertisements, social media, news, friends, co-workers, influencers, critics. But very few people ever stop to listen carefully to themselves. Their inner voice runs automatically. It repeats old fears, old disappointments, old failures, old insults. Sometimes these thoughts were planted years ago. Perhaps a teacher once said, "You're not smart." Maybe someone told you, "You'll never succeed." Maybe you failed once and decided failure was your identity. The Stoics would ask an important question. Is that thought actually true? Or have you simply repeated it for so many years that it feels true? There is an enormous difference. A lie repeated every day eventually sounds like reality. That is why self-awareness is the beginning of wisdom. You cannot change a conversation you refuse to notice. The first victory is not changing your thoughts. The first victory is hearing them. Spend one day observing your own mind. Notice how often you criticize yourself. Notice how often you compare yourself. Notice how quickly you expect failure. Notice how rarely you encourage yourself. You may discover that the harshest voice in your life has never belonged to another person. It has always belonged to you. The good news is this: if you created that voice, you can also train it. The Stoic secret about control, one of the greatest lessons Stoicism offers, is beautifully simple. Some things are within your control, many things are not. You cannot control the weather. You cannot control other people's opinions. You cannot control the past. You cannot control whether everyone likes you. But you can control your response. You can control your effort. You can control your honesty. You can control your discipline. You can control the meaning you assign to every situation. This changes everything. Imagine waking up tomorrow and saying, "I cannot control the entire world today, but I can control the person I become today." Immediately, anxiety becomes smaller, because anxiety often comes from trying to manage things that were never ours to manage. The Stoic mindset removes unnecessary burdens. Instead of asking, "What if everything goes wrong?" ask, "How will I respond if something goes wrong?" That single shift transforms fear into preparation. Preparation creates confidence. Confidence creates action. Action creates progress. Notice that none of this depends on perfect circumstances. It depends on your inner conversation. Speak like someone you respect. Imagine listening to someone speak to their best friend. They would probably say, "I believe in you. You'll figure this out. You've overcome difficult things before. Don't quit. You can learn. You are stronger than you think." Now imagine that same person talking to themselves. "I'm useless. I'm lazy. I'm too old. I'm too late. I'll never change." Why would anyone encourage others while destroying themselves? The Stoics believed every human being possesses reason. That means we have the ability to examine our thoughts instead of automatically believing them. The next time your mind says, "I can't," pause. Ask, is that completely true? Or is it simply fear speaking? Fear often disguises itself as certainty. It says, "You will fail," when the truth is, "You might fail." Those are very different statements. One predicts the future. The other admits uncertainty. And uncertainty always leaves room for possibility. This is why wise self-talk is honest. Not fake, not dramatic, not hopeless. Simply honest. Instead of saying, "I'll never succeed," say, "I haven't succeeded yet." That single word, "yet," keeps the door open. The Stoic mind never closes doors that reality has not closed. The difference between hope and delusion. Some people misunderstand positive thinking. They believe saying good words alone will magically create success. Stoicism never teaches that. The Stoics respected reality. If you want a healthy body, you must exercise. If you want wisdom, you must study. If you want stronger relationships, you must become more patient and kind. Words without action are empty, but action without the right mindset rarely lasts. Your words should fuel your actions. Every morning, instead of saying, "I hope today is easy," try saying, "Whatever today brings, I will meet it with courage." Notice the difference. One depends on circumstances, the other depends on character. Character is always more reliable than circumstances. Life may not become easier, but you become stronger. And eventually your strength changes how life feels. That is one of the greatest attractions in the world. Not attracting money through wishes, not attracting success through fantasies, but attracting trust because people see your integrity. Attracting opportunities because people notice your discipline. Attracting peace because your mind no longer fights reality every moment. This is the true meaning of attracting everything you want. You become someone capable of receiving what life offers. Every great life begins with one new sentence. Think back to a difficult season in your life. Perhaps there was a moment when everything changed. Maybe nothing around you changed immediately, but something inside you did. Perhaps you finally said, "I've had enough," or "I'm going to keep going," or "I refuse to let this define me." One sentence, one decision, one new identity. That is how transformation usually begins. Not with applause, not with perfection, not with instant success, but with one quiet conversation no one else ever hears. Every great achievement begins invisibly. The athlete first decides to become disciplined. The writer first decides to write. The entrepreneur first decides to keep trying after failure. The peaceful person first decides not to let anger control them. Everything begins inside. So if you want a different future, start by becoming careful about what you repeat today, because every repeated sentence becomes part of your identity, and every identity shapes your destiny. Closing of Part 1. From this moment forward, remember this simple truth: you are listening to yourself all day long. Make sure the person speaking deserves your trust. Speak with courage instead of fear. Speak with discipline instead of excuses. Speak with gratitude instead of constant complaint. Speak with wisdom instead of impulse. The world may not immediately change, but you will. And when you change, your choices change. Your habits change. Your relationships change. Your opportunities change. Your future changes. This is the Stoic path. Not controlling fate, but mastering yourself. Because the greatest victory is never conquering the world. The greatest victory is becoming the kind of person who no longer needs the world's permission to believe in themselves. The quality of your life is not determined only by what happens to you. It is determined by the meaning you give to what happens. This is one of the greatest lessons Stoicism teaches. Two people can experience the same disappointment, yet one grows stronger while the other gives up. The event is the same. The difference is the conversation happening inside their minds. Every morning before you check your phone, before you answer an email, before you listen to the opinions of the world, spend a few quiet moments speaking to yourself with intention. Say, "Today I will focus on what I can control. I will not waste my energy fighting reality. I will use every challenge as an opportunity to strengthen my character." These are not magical words. They are reminders. They prepare your mind for reality instead of fantasy. Life will never be perfect. There will always be delays, disappointments, misunderstandings, and unexpected problems. The Stoic does not expect a perfect life. The Stoic prepares for an imperfect one. When your expectations become realistic, your peace becomes stronger. Many people lose their happiness because they expect the world to always treat them fairly. They expect everyone to understand them. They expect success to arrive quickly. When reality refuses to match those expectations, frustration appears. Instead of saying, "Life should be easier," teach yourself to say, "Life is challenging, and every challenge is training me." That single sentence changes everything. Think about the strongest people you know. They are rarely the people who avoided difficulty. They are usually the people who learned to grow through it. Every hardship taught them patience. Every failure taught them wisdom. Every disappointment taught them resilience. Your struggles are not always obstacles. Sometimes they are classrooms. Every difficult season asks one important question: who are you becoming? Most people focus only on what they are losing. The Stoic focuses on what they are learning. Imagine losing an important opportunity. One person says, "I knew I wasn't good enough." Another person says, "This hurts, but now I know what I need to improve." The first sentence creates hopelessness. The second sentence creates growth. This is why your inner voice matters more than your circumstances. The words you repeat every day slowly become your identity. If you constantly tell yourself that you are weak, your actions will begin to match that belief. If you remind yourself that you are becoming stronger every day, your actions slowly move in that direction. Notice something important. The sentence is not, "I am already perfect." The sentence is, "I am becoming stronger." Stoicism does not ask you to ignore reality. It asks you to improve it. Growth always begins with honesty. Perhaps today you lack discipline. Admit it. Perhaps you procrastinate. Admit it. Perhaps fear controls too many of your decisions. Admit it. Honesty is never weakness. Honesty is the first step toward freedom. Many people hide from the truth because they think admitting weakness makes them smaller. The opposite is true. Ignoring weakness keeps it alive. Facing weakness begins the process of changing it. Each morning ask yourself, what kind of person do I want to become today? Not next year, not someday. Today. Do you want to become calmer? Then practice patience. Do you want to become wiser? Then listen more than you speak. Do you want to become confident? Then keep the promises you make to yourself. Confidence is not built by compliments. Confidence is built by evidence. Every time you do what you promised yourself you would do, you give your mind evidence that you can trust yourself. That trust becomes self-confidence. Imagine waking up and saying, "Today I will keep one promise to myself." Maybe that promise is exercising. Maybe it is reading for 30 minutes. Maybe it is avoiding unnecessary arguments. Maybe it is finishing an important task before checking social media. The size of the promise does not matter. Keeping it does. Each fulfilled promise is like placing another stone in the foundation of your character. Eventually, that foundation becomes so strong that criticism cannot easily shake it. One of the greatest enemies of peace is comparison. The modern world encourages comparison every minute. Someone has a bigger house. Someone has more money. Someone seems happier. Someone appears more successful. But appearances often hide reality. You are comparing your private struggles with someone else's public highlights. The Stoics warned against seeking happiness through external status because external things constantly change. Instead of asking, "Why am I not as successful as them?" ask, "Am I becoming a better person than I was yesterday?" That is the comparison that leads to peace. Compete with your previous self, not with strangers. Every day you improve by just 1%. You become a completely different person over time. Great transformations rarely happen overnight. They happen through small decisions repeated consistently. Your future is being built by today's habits, not today's wishes. One powerful sentence you can repeat every morning is, "Small progress is still progress." Never underestimate consistent effort. A river cuts through stone not because it is powerful in one moment, but because it never stops flowing. Your discipline works the same way. Perhaps today you only read 10 pages. Perhaps you exercise for 20 minutes. Perhaps you choose kindness during a difficult conversation. These actions seem small, but character is built through small actions repeated thousands of times. Another conversation you must change is how you speak to yourself after making mistakes. Most people become their own harshest critics. One mistake becomes proof that they are failures. The Stoic sees mistakes differently. Mistakes are teachers. Every master was once a beginner. Every expert once struggled. Every confident person once doubted themselves. Failure is not the opposite of success. Giving up is. Whenever you fail, replace self-condemnation with curiosity. Instead of saying, "Why? Am I so terrible?" ask, "What can this experience teach me?" Questions lead to growth. Judgments often lead to shame. Your mind follows the direction of the questions you ask. Ask empowering questions. Seek useful answers. Another daily sentence that strengthens the mind is, "I do not need everyone's approval." This simple truth can free you from years of unnecessary suffering. Many people live according to other people's expectations. They choose careers to impress others. They buy things to impress others. They hide their true personalities to avoid criticism. But the Stoics understood something important. You cannot control another person's opinion. No matter how good you become, someone will misunderstand you. Someone will criticize you. Someone will dislike you. That is part of being human. Do not waste your life trying to control minds that were never yours to control. Instead, ask yourself, did I act with integrity? Was I honest? Did I do my best? If the answer is yes, then continue walking your path with confidence. Inner peace begins when you stop asking for permission to be yourself. One of the strongest habits you can develop is gratitude, not because gratitude removes problems, because gratitude changes your focus. Every day your mind chooses where to look. It can search for everything that is missing, or it can recognize everything that already exists. A healthy body, a new sunrise, the ability to learn, a loving family, a true friend, a second chance, a peaceful moment. Gratitude reminds you that your life contains blessings even while it contains challenges. Both can exist together. The Stoics often reflected on the temporary nature of life, not to become fearful, but to become appreciative. Imagine if today were your last ordinary day. Would you still complain about every inconvenience, or would you notice the beauty hidden inside ordinary moments? The morning sunlight, conversation with someone you love, fresh air, the opportunity to begin again. Sometimes happiness is not found by gaining more. Sometimes it is found by finally appreciating what is already here. As you continue this journey, remember one truth above all others. The greatest conversation you will ever have is not with your boss, not with your family, not with your closest friends. It is the conversation you have with yourself every single day. Protect that conversation. Strengthen it. Fill it with wisdom instead of fear. Fill it with discipline instead of excuses. Fill it with hope instead of despair. Because the person you become tomorrow is being shaped by the words you choose today. Every sunrise gives you another opportunity to rewrite your inner story. Do not waste it. Speak to yourself like someone whose future depends on your words, because it does. There comes a moment in every person's life when they realize that the greatest battle is not against other people. It is not against bad luck, difficult circumstances, or the opinions of society. The greatest battle is the one that takes place in silence, inside your own mind. Every day your mind speaks thousands of words. Some of those words lift you higher. Others quietly pull you down. The tragedy is that most people never question those thoughts. They assume that because a thought appears in their mind, it must be true. Stoicism teaches something completely different. A thought is not a fact. It is only a thought. You have the power to examine it, challenge it, and replace it with one that is wiser. Imagine standing at the entrance of your own mind like a wise guardian. Every thought knocks on the door asking to enter. One thought says you will never succeed. Another says, people are judging you. Another whispers, it is too late to change. Most people allow these thoughts to enter without asking a single question. They welcome fear as if it were truth. The Stoic pauses. Instead of believing every thought, the Stoic asks, is this thought helping me become wiser, calmer, stronger, and more disciplined? If the answer is no, the thought is not allowed to stay. This simple habit changes the entire direction of a person's life. Remember this every morning. You are not responsible for every thought that enters your mind, but you are responsible for which thoughts you choose to keep. That realization brings freedom. Speak to yourself before fear. Speaks to you, fear is one of the oldest emotions known to humanity. Fear once protected people from danger. Today, however, much of our fear comes not from real threats, but from imagined futures. We fear failure before trying. We fear rejection before speaking. We fear criticism before creating. We fear embarrassment before taking action. Notice something interesting. Most of these fears have not actually happened, yet our bodies react as though they already have. The Stoics understood that imagination can either become a servant or a master. If you allow fear to control your imagination, you begin living inside problems that do not yet exist. Instead, Speak to yourself with courage. Each morning say, I will not suffer twice. If difficulty comes, I will face it when it arrives. Until then, I choose peace. Think about how much energy people waste worrying. They replay conversations that never happen. They imagine failures that never occur. They create disasters inside their minds while sitting safely in their own homes. The Stoic refuses to carry tomorrow's burden today. Instead, the Stoic says, today's work deserves today's attention. When tomorrow arrives, it will bring its own opportunities and its own challenges. Meet them then, not now. Replace self-doubt with self-respect. There is a quiet difference between confidence and arrogance. Arrogance says, I am better than everyone. Confidence says, I trust myself to keep learning. Stoicism never encourages arrogance. Instead, it encourages self-respect. Self-respect is earned. It grows every time you choose discipline over comfort. Every time you tell the truth even when it is difficult. Every time you keep your word. Every time you remain calm when anger would be easier. You begin to admire yourself not because you are perfect, but because you are becoming trustworthy. That is why your daily conversation should sound like this. I may not know everything, but I am willing to learn. I may fail today, but I will rise tomorrow. I do not need perfection, I need progress. These words build quiet confidence. Confidence built through action lasts much longer than confidence built through praise. Stop arguing with reality, one of Hume. The greatest causes of suffering is arguing with things that have already happened. People spend years saying, this should not have happened. My past ruined my future. Life has been unfair. Perhaps it has. Perhaps terrible things really did happen. Stoicism does not ask you to deny pain. It asks you not to become its prisoner. The past cannot hear your complaints. It cannot be negotiated with. It cannot be changed. But your response today can. Every morning remind yourself, I cannot rewrite yesterday, but I can write today. That sentence contains enormous freedom. The moment you stop fighting reality, all that energy becomes available for growth. Instead of asking, why did this happen? Ask, what is the wisest thing I can do now? The second question always moves you forward. Speak to yourself. With patience, modern life rewards speed. Everyone wants instant success, instant money, instant confidence, instant happiness, but nature teaches a different lesson. A giant oak tree begins as a tiny seed. A river shapes mountains through years of steady movement. The strongest character is built the same way. Slowly, patiently. One disciplined decision at a time. When you feel discouraged because progress seems slow, remind yourself, every day I improve, even if I cannot yet see the full result. Growth is often invisible before it becomes obvious. Think about exercising. You do not become stronger after one workout. But months later, you notice a remarkable difference. The same is true for your mind. Every calm response, every disciplined morning, every grateful thought, every wise decision. These small victories quietly shape the person you become. Trust the process. Guard your attention. Your attention is one of the most valuable resources you possess. Whatever captures your attention eventually influences your thoughts. Your thoughts influence your emotions. Your emotions influence your actions. Your actions create your future. That means protecting your attention is protecting your future. Ask yourself each day, what am I feeding my mind? If you constantly consume negativity, anger, gossip, and comparison, your inner world begins to reflect those things. If you feed your mind wisdom, gratitude, discipline, meaningful books, uplifting conversations, and purposeful work, your thinking begins to change. Marcus Aurelius once reminded himself to guard his own mind because no one else could do it for him. The same is true for us. Do not allow every opinion to enter your mind. Not every voice deserves your attention. Not every criticism deserves your response. Not every argument deserves your energy. Sometimes the strongest response is silence. Learn the power of inner silence. Silence is often misunderstood. People think silence means weakness. Stoicism teaches that silence can be one of the greatest expressions of strength. Not every insult deserves an answer. Not every misunderstanding requires an explanation. Not every criticism deserves your defense. Imagine carrying a heavy backpack filled with stones. Every unnecessary argument adds another stone. Every resentment adds another stone. Every grudge adds another stone. Eventually, the weight becomes exhausting. Now imagine setting those stones down. The road becomes lighter. That is what forgiveness does. That is what emotional discipline does. Not because others deserve it, because your peace deserves it. Each day remind yourself, I choose peace over proving myself right. That simple sentence can save years of emotional suffering. Build the habit of evening reflection. The Stoics believed every day should end with honest reflection, not harsh criticism. Not guilt. Reflection. Before going to sleep, ask yourself 3 simple questions. What did I do well today? Celebrate your effort. Recognize your discipline. Notice your progress. Then ask, where did I fall short? Answer honestly, without excuses, without self-hatred. Finally ask, how can I become better tomorrow? This final question keeps your attention on growth instead of regret. Every evening becomes another opportunity to improve. Every morning becomes another opportunity to begin again. This simple practice transforms ordinary days into extraordinary years. Become the author of your story. Many people spend their lives believing they are victims of circumstances. Stoicism offers another perspective. While you cannot always choose your circumstances, you can choose your character. Character determines how your story unfolds. Perhaps you were born into difficulty. Perhaps people underestimated you. Perhaps life has been painful. Those chapters matter, but they do not have to become the final chapter. Each new day hands you a blank page. What you write on that page depends on your choices. Not your past, not someone else's opinion, not your fear, your choices. Tell yourself every morning, today I will write a page that my future self will be proud to read. Live in a way that earns your own respect. That respect is more valuable than temporary approval from strangers. Closing of Part 3. Never forget this truth. Your mind is listening. Every sentence you repeat becomes another brick in the foundation of your character. If your words are filled with fear, your life slowly becomes smaller. If your words are filled with courage, discipline, patience, gratitude, and wisdom, your life gradually expands. This is why Stoicism places so much importance on mastering the inner world. Because the outer world is always uncertain. Markets rise and fall. People come and go. Health changes. Opportunities appear and disappear. But the person who has learned to govern their own mind carries stability wherever they go. So tomorrow morning, before the world has a chance to tell you who you are, speak these words with complete conviction. I cannot control everything that happens today, but I can control my attitude. I will meet every challenge with courage. I will act with wisdom instead of impulse. I will keep my promises to myself. I will become just a little better than I was yesterday. If you repeat these words and live according to them day after day, month after month, year after year, you will discover something extraordinary. The life you wanted was never created by luck alone. It was built through the quiet discipline of mastering your own mind. If there is one lesson that every great Stoic philosopher tried to teach, it is this. Your greatest power is not found in controlling the world. It is found in controlling yourself. Many people spend their lives chasing success, happiness, respect, and peace as if these things exist somewhere outside of them. They believe that once they earn more money, buy a larger house, find the perfect relationship, or receive enough praise, they will finally feel complete. But experience teaches something different. There are wealthy people who live with constant anxiety. There are famous people who feel lonely. There are powerful people who never experience peace. Why? Because external success can never replace inner stability. Stoicism teaches that real wealth begins with mastering your own mind. When your character becomes strong, your circumstances no longer control your emotions. You stop living from one emotional reaction to another. Instead, you begin living from principles. Every morning before the world demands your attention, remind yourself, today, I will let my values guide my actions, not my emotions. This simple sentence has the power to change your entire day. Your emotions are real, but they are temporary. Your values can remain constant. Feel fear, but choose courage. Feel anger, but choose patience. Feel disappointment, but choose perseverance. Feel uncertainty, but choose wisdom. That is what emotional maturity looks like. The Stoics never claimed that wise people never experienced emotion. They taught that wise people refuse to become slaves to emotion. When anger appears, they pause. When fear appears, they breathe. When pride appears, they practice humility. When success arrives, they remain grateful. When failure arrives, they remain steady. Their peace comes not from perfect circumstances, but from disciplined character. Imagine living like that. Imagine no longer allowing one rude comment to ruin your entire day. Imagine refusing to let one mistake define your future. Imagine meeting every challenge with calm confidence instead of panic. That is the quiet strength Stoicism offers. It is available to anyone willing to train the mind. One of the most powerful habits you can build is beginning each day with intentional self-talk. Before touching your phone, before opening social media, before listening to the noise of the world, sit quietly for a few moments. Take a slow breath, then remind yourself, today I choose discipline over comfort. Today I choose gratitude over complaint. Today I choose courage over fear. Today I choose wisdom over impulse. Today I will focus only on what I can control. These are not empty affirmations. They are commitments. And commitments become meaningful only when they are followed by action. If you say you value honesty, practice honesty. If you say you value kindness, practice kindness. If you say you value discipline, make the difficult choice even when no one is watching. Character is built in private long before it is recognized in public. Many people ask, how do I attract success? The Stoic answer is simple. Become the kind of person success can trust. Success often follows reliability. Peace often follows gratitude. Strong relationships often follow integrity. Opportunities often follow preparation. None of these are accidents. They are the natural result of daily habits. Think about a farmer. The farmer cannot command the harvest to appear overnight. The farmer prepares the soil, plants the seeds, waters them faithfully, protects them from harm, then waits patiently. Life works in much the same way. Your daily thoughts are seeds, your words are water, your habits are the sunlight, your character is the soil. The future you experience depends largely on what you plant today. If you plant resentment, bitterness will grow. If you plant excuses, regret will grow. If you plant discipline, confidence will grow. If you plant gratitude, joy will grow. If you plant wisdom, peace will grow. This is not instant transformation. It is steady transformation. The strongest people are rarely transformed in one dramatic moment. They become stronger through thousands of quiet decisions that no one else ever notices. Every morning they choose consistency. Every evening they choose reflection. Every failure becomes another lesson. Every success becomes another reason to remain humble. This is why humility is so important. The Stoics warned against becoming proud because pride often stops learning. The moment you believe you already know everything, growth ends. Instead, tell yourself each day, there is always something new I can learn. That sentence keeps your mind open. An open mind continues growing. A closed mind slowly becomes trapped by its own certainty. Another powerful habit is learning to release what no longer serves you. Some people carry guilt from years ago. Others carry resentment. Some carry the opinions of people they have not seen in decades. Ask yourself honestly, is this burden helping me become the person I want to be? If the answer is no, begin putting it down. Forgiveness does not always mean forgetting. It means refusing to let yesterday steal today's peace. Likewise, forgive yourself. Many people speak kindly to everyone except themselves. They remember every mistake, every embarrassment, every failure. But growth requires self-compassion as well as self-discipline, instead of saying, "I ruined everything." They say, "I made a mistake, and now I will learn from it." There is tremendous strength in that sentence. It keeps responsibility while removing hopelessness. Remember, your identity is not determined by your worst day. Your identity is shaped by your repeated choices. Every day offers another opportunity to become wiser. As you continue your Stoic journey, begin noticing the quiet victories that often go unseen. Choosing patience instead of anger, listening instead of interrupting, working instead of procrastinating, saving instead of wasting, encouraging instead of criticizing, remaining calm when others become emotional. These moments may never appear on social media. They may never receive applause. Yet they are the moments that build extraordinary character. One day people will call you wise. They will call you disciplined. They will admire your calm presence. What they will not see are the thousands of silent conversations that shaped you. They will not hear the mornings when you chose courage over fear. They will not witness the evenings when you admitted your mistakes and promised to improve. They will only see the result, but you will know the truth. Greatness is built in private, long before it is recognized in public. That is why your daily conversation with yourself is sacred. Protect it carefully. Never allow temporary failure to become permanent identity. Never allow another person's opinion to become your definition. Never allow fear to become the author of your future. You hold the pen. You decide what story your life will tell. Perhaps today your circumstances are difficult. Perhaps your dreams feel far away. Perhaps you are rebuilding after disappointment. Remember this: every sunrise is evidence that life allows another beginning. As long as you are alive, you have the opportunity to grow, to learn, to forgive, to serve, to improve, to become. The Stoics never promised that life would be easy. They promised something far more valuable: that peace is possible even during hardship, that courage is possible even during fear, that wisdom is possible even during uncertainty, and that a meaningful life is available to anyone willing to master themselves. So tomorrow morning, when you open your eyes, before the noise of the world enters your mind, speak these words slowly and with conviction. I am grateful for another day. I cannot control everything that happens, but I can control how I respond. Today, I will choose integrity over convenience. Today, I will treat others with kindness without expecting anything in return. Today, I will work with excellence, even when no one is watching. Today, I will accept what I cannot change and improve what I can. Today, I will refuse to compare my journey with anyone else's. Today, I will become one step closer to the person I was created to be. Repeat these words. Live these words. Let them become habits. Then let those habits become your character. Because your character will shape your destiny more than luck ever will. Final Stoic reflection: at the end of your life, people may remember your achievements. They may remember your career. They may remember your possessions. But the greatest legacy you leave behind will be the person you became. Did you remain honest when it was difficult? Did you stay calm when life became chaotic? Did you choose compassion over hatred? Did you continue learning even after success? Did you encourage others while continuing to improve yourself? These are the questions that truly matter. The Stoics believe that a meaningful life is not measured by how much you own, but by how well you live. Every conversation you have with yourself either builds or weakens that life. So guard your words carefully. Speak with wisdom. Speak with patience. Speak with courage. Speak with gratitude. Speak with hope rooted in action. And remember this final truth: you attract the life you prepare yourself to receive. When your mind becomes disciplined, your decisions become wiser. When your decisions become wiser, your habits become stronger. When your habits become stronger, your character becomes unshakable. And when your character becomes unshakable, no obstacle can stop you from living a life of purpose, peace, and lasting fulfillment. This is the heart of Stoicism. Master your mind, master yourself, and the rest of your life will begin to change, one thought, one choice, and one day at a time.